Welcome everybody to another episode of Circle of the Earth Fellowship. Glad to have you here. Vader Bear here. And I'm excited to get into our topic today as we will be talking about clones. So getting to do a little camera adjustment here. But yeah, we're going to be talking about clones and all that kind of entails with that. Does it exist? Does it not exist? Is it something that is in our world or just within the fiction? And if it's just in the fiction, why is the propagation of this idea so relevant? So we're going to dive into that, and we're going to look at a whole bunch of different aspects. But like always, we're going to go ahead and say hello to the panel members, and then we'll do a little housekeeping, and then we'll get into it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome Marsha. Welcome, sister.
Hello, everyone, and Francesca. I'm your 73-year-old clone.
Awesome. Yeah, and we've dabbled in this conversation before, Marsha, and we've talked about it, and so I'm excited to kind of dedicate an episode to it to do so. So sweet. We'll jump over to our brother Robert. Welcome, brother. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. That was a kicking intro song. Loved
Yes,
it. Loved
done
it.
good.
Glad you liked it. If you haven't seen it, guys, I will post an independent video, but you could also rewind it a little bit while we're doing the intro and check it out if you wanna see it. Hopefully you like it as much as Robert does. So awesome. Well, welcome, brother. You see the clone troopers behind you, and we're going to be talking about movies, right? Because like I kind of indicated before, we have this prevalent idea of clones in the tech and that technology within our pop culture, within our media. So we're going to talk about that as well. But let's also welcome our brother Frankie B. Welcome, brother. Glad to have you as always.
Hey, hello. Happy Shabbat, everyone. Very good episode. Clones are real. I don't mean clue.
This is kind of funny you say that. I was like, I was talking to a buddy at work, and I was like, oh yeah, we're having I was talking to my brother, and I was like, hey, we're talking about clones. He's like, cologne? And I was like, no, clones. And so that was kind of funny, but sweet.
Funny.
Sweet. So let's go ahead and jump in, do the housekeeping real quick, and then we will start getting into the show topic itself. Go ahead and pull that up. Here we go. Pull that up for everybody, and let me get over there so that I can control it. First off, I'd like to shout out to, why is it making it load again? Chris and Liz Bailey over on Take on the World. They give us the ability to come onto their platform and share our puzzle pieces with their community that they built. And we always want to recognize them doing so for us. So go check them out if you haven't. And we also are simulcasting over there, so another place to check it out. Shout out to all those that are over on Take on the World. Hope you are all doing well and enjoying the content. So if you don't know, and you're not on our main channel, we have a channel of our own, Circle of the Earth Fellowship. So go check that out. It's at CEF Fellowship on YouTube, or you can type it out fully like it is up there. But yeah, we do a live every day, and we'll get into more of what we're talking about. But like always, we like to read the comments from the last video, and so I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up real quick. On both of these, we're gonna read their comments if there are any. And we'll keep trucking along. So over on Take on the World, Moonglow said, thank you. We appreciate the support. The Mrs. Vader, so glad we're back. Yes, I am too. Zealot Kendrick said, John 10:1, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. Absolutely. And that ties in right what we're talking with today. Last week, obviously, we talked about transhumanism, but clones is very much adjacent, if not parallel, with that desire to godhood in some fashion. And so we're just going to break down another fashion that they like to talk about, or at least are attempting to bring into reality, or have already brought into reality. We'll let you decide that as we get through the conversation. So thank you for your comments over there. Over on Circle of the Earth, my lovely wife said, looking forward to seeing the new intro. I hope you enjoyed it, love. I know you did, because you've been helping me do it the whole time. But yeah, let's keep trucking along. So we are on Discord right now, so if you'd ever like to join the table and discuss some of these topics, there is the link there, as well as in the YouTube description. And we share memes and other content creators and videos and other resources. So definitely check that out if you're interested in joining a community like that. If you'd like to support the channel, we don't do the YouTube monetization. Oh my gosh, that was such a hard trouble saying that word. But we do have a little merch store if you want to get something as well as support. That's the way to do it. And just a couple shout outs to some resources I really like. We have Bible Gateway, great resource. They have a whole bunch of the different versions, as well as Bible Hub. They have the lexicons, the concordances, tons of information and connections you can make here. And then I also do suggest the sacredtext.com that they host the Apocrypha. I definitely suggest the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees. And as of right now, tomorrow will be our second reading of the Book of Jubilees. We will be reading the Testament of Simon. So if you're interested in hearing that read out to you and getting a little discussion about what it was about, definitely check out the tomorrow. That's in the Peace Seekers series. So, got that all out.
Testament of the 12 patriarchs, not Jubilees.
Oh, did I say Testament of the 12 Jubilees?
No, you said Jubilees. It's not in Jubilees, is it?
Sorry. No, I said read the Book of Enoch, read the Book of Jubilees, and right now we are doing a reading of the Testament of 12 Patriarchs. So if there wasn't any confusion, hopefully that cleared it up. Sweet. All right. That is the rest of the housekeeping for now. We got some videos to share, but let's kind of get into the topic and discuss it a little bit, and then we'll start showing some of the stuff we got to show when it comes to the topic of clones. So sweet. All right. So okay. So as it sounds, Marcia, you're in the pro category that clones exist, and there are so starting with you, what do you think is the progression? What type of technology do they have it fully developed? Is it working? Is it just at the bare level? Where do you see clones at and how they're used in society?
Okay. I believe they're actually cloning people, and they are more progressive than what possibly others think. That's my take on it. I mean, once you see Hillary thrown into a van and then come back out like this, I'm just kind of wondering. But I and some other guy that they killed, he said they were cloning anyway, and he was murdered. Right. Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name, darn it. But
I might actually have his video up. I don't know.
He said they bring him into a ring and they do all horrible things to him. You could feel. Well, wait a minute.
They killed that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, they killed him. That's the one that Whitson had on, right?
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, he didn't have him on, right? He showed the video. Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
All right. So okay, so you believe clones exist, you believe they're at a
Yes.
high level more than the majority of people would speculate.
Eh,
Okay.
Maybe. Yes.
All right, let's jump over to
Well,
Rock. Oh,
okay. Let
okay.
me let me take that back in a way. They can also make. I don't know that they're really progressed to where they talk and think and everything like that person, because I think they can use software to have anybody talk on a. So now I don't know. Now I've changed my mind. I don't know.
Okay, so you don't know if it's necessary, like, cause I feel like that is a genuine interesting part to bring up, is because clones. So let's take a step back. So clone is an interesting thing, and let's show some stuff. We'll show this stuff before the trailers, but I think it'll be a good way to kind of start off. So here we have the sixth day. So this is one of the movies we're gonna talk about and kind of extrapolate from, and we'll play the trailer from it. So let's actually go ahead and play the trailer. The trailer's just gonna be in the background, guys. I'm not gonna be able to play noise because it may even still get copyrighted. So I'm gonna switch on between it being the focus and not. So bear with me for that. But so I'm gonna show that, and I'm actually gonna cut my camera off so that it's not making this slow. Okay, so in the sixth day, this movie is about a program where important people and through within the civilization are cloned, and in this movie, why don't I have no? It's not actually playing for me. I may have too much loaded up right now. My computer is old. It used to be very.
Should we go to pictures rather than video?
Yeah, drop off a camera real quick and let's see if
Okay.
that. Let's see if that changes it. Because it's okay, so here it's playing it. So in this movie, they basically are able to create clones, and you can kind of see some pictures here. Now, what's interesting about this movie in particular is the fact that still down here, is the fact that I think it's gonna get choppy. Okay, let me pull that back. So is the fact that the guy, the clone right here, believes that he is the real person. Everything in him. Now they thought that the original died, but in actuality he didn't. And so and I may be messing up the movie. It's been a minute since I've seen it. But he goes back, and they're trying to kill this clone so that they don't realize that they have these clones. Excuse me. And so I'm gonna pause it real quick and drop it out. So we can bring up our cameras again. So in that movie, the clone believes he is the original, and I think it was like under the lip or the eyelid or something like that, where they basically had a marker showing what number of a clone that one was.
Oh.
And typically within jobs, the people that had high risk jobs, they would have multiple clones. So people who were, like security guards, bodyguards, etc., they may have had more clones because they had died more. And so let's define clone, because I feel like it's such a tricky word, okay? Because when you say clone, I feel like a lot of people, and we also will see that in multiplicity, which we'll talk about a little bit later, where the clones believe that they are the original person. They have the memories of that person. They have the
Yeah.
experiences of that person. They're literally the same person. Okay.
Mm.
Now you were kind of getting into whether, okay, are there doubles? That's another kind of section of clones. Are they doubles? Are they animatronic doubles? Right, where we're getting these robotic, maybe slight organic. Maybe they're full organic and it's a brain mapping, but the brain mapping isn't at a higher quality in which they have the motor functions and the normal kind of expressions as that person, but yet they are limited in the fullness. One and two, if that also usually goes with, they have a limited expiration. Like they don't live as long as a normal human would be.
Right.
And then just to define it a little bit more, right? We have the clones that are we saying like they are taking the DNA and putting it in a stem cell and going through the whole growth process from incubation of that egg to to the germination of that egg, to the incubation of that egg, to the full birth of the person, whether it was an incubator or not. Now, if that happens, is that an independent spark? Is that a full separate person who has different experiences and different beliefs? We have a movie that will show that kind of idea as well, where it is an identical DNA clone that and maybe we can talk about hormone growth, where they speed up the process so it's not a full 30 years to get a person, where this is more of a organ harvesting thing, where they create a doppelganger, they create a clone, and then they harvest the liver because they are drinkers, or the kidneys, or the lungs because they're smoke, whatever it is. They're actually just creating these surrogates as a means for body parts to replace their own, right? So are we talking about a clone in that way? And so I feel like that word is kind of like the that one word where it describes so many different elements of something with all these different ideas. So with that being said, let's kind of get back into it. So where do you more see clones being when you say clones?
I don't see it as the exact same person with the same personality and the same everything. No.
Okay.
No. More of a double.
Okay, more of a double.
And they do something. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe like a controlled automaton, maybe a spirit vassal. Who knows? Okay.
Because AI isn't even
fully there. Yeah, totally. Sweet. All right. What about you, Robert?
Okay. So we know that there are clones. Okay. We know the Dolly the sheep and whatever else. Okay. I say I go along with saying that it's not like a duplicate personality, soul, spirit, and all that. But what a great idea! What's the best place to get a replacement heart, kidney, lung than from yourself? You're compatible. They do a face transplant. I mean, so going to do a face transplant with your clone too? I mean, you're getting a little older. You got this clone that you developed 20 years ago. Now you're 80 and the clone's 20 years old. Slap on a new face.
Did they do face transplant?
They did a face transplant. I don't.
Face transplant.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen how it's going lately, but I know that there was definitely some nerve damage in the transplant. But
yeah.
He was a acceptable.
Yeah.
An acceptable thing, to have a face rather than yeah. So I do think that like you talk about these duplicates and whatnot. I mean, the question is though, how quickly can these grow
Mm-hmm.
Right.
to adults? Because I mean, you can't hang around. Sometimes you're not gonna be able to hang around for 20 years to get that replacement.
And I also feel like if that was possible to, let's say, increase the growth rate of these clones, I feel like it would also be on the back end too, right? That they would deteriorate quicker because they would age quicker, right? And so maybe some of the things we've seen is because those systems are breaking down, and we're seeing those kind of results. So yeah, sweet. All
Hey,
right.
Banner,
Oh,
is my microphone low or no? Is it
uh,
just me getting?
I,
They also said that Frankie B's was low, so
Frankie
uh,
B's is low,
okay, let
but
me
I don't
turn
think
them up
yours
a
is
little bit.
low.
I'm gonna turn y'all up a little bit. All right, hopefully that's better for everyone. Robert's mic is super low too. Okay, I just turned some stuff up. So if they are too loud now, let me know. If they're still low when they keep talking, let me know as well. But
Check.
hopefully that
My
fix
good.
it.
My good. Check.
Yeah. All right. All right, Frankie B. What's your idea about clones? Where the technology is? What type of clones that you kind of envision when you talk about what you believe?
Uh, I think they're hybrids. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm stuck on this page. Yeah, I think they're hybrids. I think they're part human and part robotic. The way they glitch, I think their memories are downloaded into a. They probably have chips in them. Uh, Probably have all kinds of stuff in their heads that they can remotely tweak them, stop them from saying things, have them glitch. Because you see all kinds of stuff where they're just like they get start staring or they get stopped in mid sentence. So that leads me to believe they have some type of programming or chip in them. What are your thoughts on that?
Possibly. Sometimes those people, like I saw Emin stop and he stopped mid sentence just staring. It's almost like he's MK Ultra rather than I don't rather than a clone. I don't know.
I don't know about the consciousness thing because I think that's something that they're looking to do. Put their own spirit inside this clone so that they can live forever. I think that is what they're trying to evolve to. Well, I think that it's a clone. I think it's a clone, but with a computer chip in it, where they download all the memory and the information of the person that they're cloning. Of the person, so they look like the person, but they don't have all their memories. They maybe have some of the time when they were cloned, but I think that there is some AI put, and Elon Musk has been talking about putting a chip in your brain so that you can connect to the internet. So, and it gives us a tale that they're probably putting some type of computer or AI into these clones to control them and to have them have memories, stories of their past.
So do you
Are
think?
you muted? They're saying you're muted, Vader, in the chat, and they say I'm
Can
blasting
y'all
loud.
can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, we can
In the
hear
chat,
you.
hear me.
Oh, you're
Yes.
really loud now, Frankie.
It says there's no sound.
Wow, lots of gain on Frankie.
Yeah, they
Well,
say
That's
check
weird.
that.
It sounds like my sound Let me see something real quick, guys. Maybe my sound got switched up. Input. That's correct.
Yeah, they're like, oh, now there's no sound.
Output.
Now
You
it's
could hear
getting worse.
Frankie, and then I was super loud.
That's all good. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on. Let me see. Vader muted. Now we can. Okay, so y'all can hear me.
I can hear you through Marsh's Discord.
Sound control to Major
Oh no, don't!
Vader.
Oh, that's terrible, Frankie. Bad, bad, bad.
Sound
Okay,
control.
so let's stop for a second. Do a mic check. Get this all under
Okay.
control. Is everyone sounding good? Is Marsha sounding good?
Am I blasting, guys?
Okay,
They
is
said.
Robert sounding good?
Hello, check, sibilance.
Is Frankie sounding good?
Check 1 2. Sibilance.
Okay, it's gonna be about
Sound
one.
control to
It's gonna be
Major
about.
Okay,
Vader.
Frankie,
Ground.
it's too loud.
It's gonna be about 20 seconds till they can. Okay, they're saying.
Well, it says
they're
Marsha
blasting.
sounds good. Is too loud. Vader went down, and then blasting.
Okay. That's so weird.
Vader is way low too. Marsha is blasting.
Okay, I think I adjusted it
I can
correctly.
try and whisper. Frankie is too loud. Yes, he was.
Okay, I turned them down. Tell me if that's too low. I apologize for this wait, guys, but sometimes this
Requesting
stuff
silence.
happens.
Requesting silence.
Lock your Soyuz hatch.
Nobody's saying anything about you, Robert.
Put your helmet
What are you
on.
just right? Mama bear, Papa bear, and baby bear just right.
You can barely hear me.
Barely.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. I
He's
don't.
draining.
Oh my
Drain.
gosh.
My buttons are like literally not even working right now for my muting and stuff. So like.
I don't know, Frankie, because I'll hear you different than they do.
All right, guys, I'm working on it. I apologize. Okay. Vader, we can barely. No, that's Robert's wife. Okay, I apologize, guys. Let's just keep going. Hopefully that's good. Okay, so let's kind of talk about the. I'm gonna bring this up. Boom. Here. Sweet. Okay, so we're gonna look at a few movies. So one of these movies is called The Island, and this I kind of already talked about. We'll read the little synopsis right here. It says, futuristic thriller about a contained, seemingly utopian facility in the mid-21st century. The residents hope to be chosen to go to the island, the last uncontaminated place on Earth. But when one inhabitant discovers that there are sinister forces at work, he and a female friend make a daring escape. So I'm gonna go ahead. Let's mute our video for a second while we play this, and we'll talk as it plays. Boom. So okay, in this movie, like it says, they basically the people that live in this community are safe from the toxic corruption polluted outside. However, there is an island in which they can be safe, and every so often a person is chosen to go to the island as a reward. And so within this facility, the people are eats very specific foods. They eat, and different people have different things that they have to follow their routines, their workout process. And basically what happens is this one clone gets out, and the clone goes on with Scarlett Johansson, they go on a mission to find their alternatives. And basically when they do find their, who they were progenited from, those people want those people dead because they are in some sick or illness in which they need to, have their liver, their different parts of their bodies to harvest so that they can, continue life. And so I think that's good enough for how what we play. Definitely go check out the movie. I don't care about spoilers because it's been a long time since that movie came out. So I'm going to stop streaming that. And camera back on. So that is another avenue that they would love to use. And we're talking about all these different aspects because clones isn't just one hard, easily nutshell idea. It has all these other ideas intertwined into it. And so we kind of see that with these different stories in these movies that we're discussing. So in this one, the clone has no idea of his where he came from. He believes he's a separate person growing up in this completely different environment in a completely different time. And the people within the facility are sold that, let's say it like this, they accept the reality which is presented to them. And, where they're happy that they are being accepted to go to the island. And what that really means is they're going to die. They're going to get their body harvested. And so that's another kind of aspect of what we're talking about here. And what's kind of the kind of repeating thing that we've already seen is for living longer, right? So the first one we talked about, the 6th day, that was specifically kind of aiming around people that had high risk jobs, that they would, if they would die, that they had this insurance that would bring them back, that wouldn't affect the job, it wouldn't affect their life, etc. And because they were important people or high position people, they were privy to this technology. And so now we're looking at kind of a different aspect. So what are y'all's thought about that aspect of them using it as a way to kind of cycle through these clones for their organs and different body parts? Thoughts? You're muted. Oh, you're muted.
You're muted, Marcia.
Okay, I took it off mute. My thought was that person would still be getting older, but they could get their parts, right? So they could live longer. Aren't they trying to live really long and at least stay looking a little younger? I mean, unless they get face transplants and that too. Like a Kissinger shrinking into that, and all Rockefeller, like myself, getting older.
Yeah.
Even though I get different parts. So I don't know.
Yeah, so maybe it's not, because in this, right, they have to have the full body to be able to harvest those parts, right? So there had to be some genetic, right? Because how do you time that out so that you can have the parts by the time that you're going to need them? It would seem like it would have to be a kind of a quick process. And then what you were saying is well, what's kind of the point of that? They want to live forever. They don't want to just extend their life. And I think that this is kind of, at least this aspect of the clone is kind of a stopgap midway where they're trying to extend their life long enough so that the technology of transferring their consciousness, their soul, what have you, becomes a reality.
That could be.
So I see this as something way more likely. Well, I don't think that a clone would ever have that shared spark of life, that shared soul where they believe and experience they're all the same person. I don't see that as a possibility, at least from that aspect. And then when it comes to the aspect of the clones, like in harvesting their organs, I see that as a more reliable thing. And the only thing I would kind of say to the whole Horth hormones is maybe that has something to do with the Watchers, like how they made the giants. Maybe that has some connection to make them grow faster. But pure speculation there.
Yeah. So I used to deliver liquid nitrogen to this cryo freezing place, and the owner had his wife's head in the thing, kept it frozen. They had other people there that they're frozen. These people they got money, wealth, and they're looking for a way to cheat death. All right. So definitely the well-to-do are going to look into this and try and invest it to try and cheat death in some way. Um, Politicians, as we mentioned already, I think, but they're puppets anyhow. So they're interchangeable. You could just replicate one of them, throw them back up on there, and tell them what to say. So
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
someone else could pay for them to be duplicated. So
Yeah.
just to keep that person on the podium.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And control in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, here, let's jump on to kind of a more full-blown one. Another movie here. Let me share screen. And guys, this is just a small sampling of turn on the camera. Of movies. There's tons more out there when it comes to clones and doubles and stuff like that. This one's called Aeon Flux. This movie is more of a futuristic, and very interestingly, also in this movie, they have genetic manipulation. There's actually a character in here that has has 4 feet, four hands. So they replace their feet with hands.
Oh,
And so let's kind of check this out while we talk about it. So basically, in this movie, she is a warrior against this government. This government is disappearing people. This government is comes hard down on people, and there's all these kind of weird things going on within the society. And so there's a resistance that's fighting up against this. And the main leader, the main character here, Aeon Flux, is an assassin for that. And so she goes on missions to do, espionage, assassinations, things like that. And as you see, there are augmentations to their bodies, to their brains, and stuff like that. And so within the sequence, she goes to do this investigation, this assassination, and when she goes to assassinate the man knows her, and this is the leader of the of the world government. And so soon it basically is discovered that everyone here is actually clones. And they have been trying, the main character, the main kind of villain, it has been working on to cure diseases. and they haven't fully developed that. They haven't perfected the genetic modification of humans. And so they have put humans within this cycle of coming back, dying, and being reborn, and dying and coming back, and being reborn, and going through this cycle. And they store all the memories, the emotions, the experiences to a degree on the within this aircraft. And so here's an example of, now this is a clone, someone who doesn't remember their previous life. They think they're a whole new person going through a whole new system. But so this is more to focus on, and this I kind of feels like kind of nudges up to what Frankie B was saying when it comes to being able to download your consciousness into some type of database, into some type of computer, and then being able to freely install, y'all can jump back on camera, but then being able to freely install that consciousness into another body. And so
consciousness, like memories, like they
Yeah.
download into a computer chip, memories, circumstances, stories, timelines. I believe that they are trying to find a way to put their consciousness into another body, but I don't think they've come to that yet.
yeah.
I don't think they're close.
And it even seems way more impossible, right, with a organic human body, right, with all the details of what it is to construct a human body and have it, work properly. So I feel like there's another angle that they could kind of take, and this is kind of clones, but not directly on clones. There's a movie called Surrogates. I'm going to bring this back up. Share screen. Pull this. So here in Surrogates, it's a little bit different because it isn't exactly clones, though they do create a surrogate, an avatar, a machine that looks like themselves. And we'll kind of talk about that in a second. I'm going to drop off the camera again and play this trailer. Go ahead and start that. Make it full screen. So again, in this movie, they have created these things called surrogates. It's a way for them to be safe, right? Because they don't need to leave the safety and security of their home. They can merely upload and control remotely these surrogate bodies. And so they put the thing on, and the surrogate comes online. And then this body comes out, and look, this body is younger and fit. And if it gets hit or run over, right, no one can die. So the whole idea of death and has gone away. People can just live their lustful, sinful lives in their bodies, and there's no repercussions for it. Well, in this movie, it comes to find out that there's this type of weapon that can fry the person's mind all the way back in the machine that they're at. So, of course, again, this isn't directly, and I'm going to go ahead and pause it. Though this isn't directly a clone, it is in the sense that they are able to replicate your human face, your human body, what you look like, how you are built, and even modify that. So this is more of a being able to consciously put your conscious in another machine while your body is still alive. But I feel like this is another avenue that's kind of a stopgap where they would also like to be, where if they can get this far, then their hopes of fully uploading their brain into the consciousness of a machine would become even more possible. Thoughts, anybody?
Yeah.
It's funny, me and my friend at work, we both talk about clones and truther stuff. And whenever I see him, I'm like, "Is that you, or did you send your clone to work today?" He starts laughing. I said, "It's Friday. You know it's not me. I'm the clone." I tell him because
I tell you, I found a GIF of my daughter. She even thought it was her. She has a doppelganger, and she even acts like her. I don't know how she talks, but
very interesting.
right, Robert?
So yeah, that's kind of another avenue, and then this kind of connects back to the first kind of thing we were talking about when it comes to clones or people's ideas. That is the movie Multiplicity. So in this movie, what we basically have going on is you have the scientist. He's able to create a clone, but each clone that he creates subsequently becomes dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber. And this is more of a comedy movie than anything else. Kind of like a rom-com, a romantic comedy. And you kind of see it from the aspect of, okay, what would happen if a man was able to reproduce himself a whole bunch to be able to do different tasks throughout the day, and what would that kind of be like in life? And so even though this is a rom-com, I do think it kind of points to some things, right? Because it kind of is like, oh, look at the benefits. He goes too far by making all the extra ones, right? But look at in the beginning when he just creates a couple, his life gets so much better and so much more convenient, and there's so many positives to it. And of course, it's a rom-com that goes to disaster and all that. But it does kind of give some glimpses of that. And then again, to the aspect of having the ability to create a person and both those people think they are the same person. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. And but I really don't buy that. I don't know, even if kind of like Frankie B says, where it's not necessarily them transferring their own consciousness from their body to another body, but it's more so them being able to download that information and put that into doubles or into other creations that can be doubles. And so I'm not gonna play. I did pull that up, but I'm not gonna play it. I'm gonna skip over to this one, and we are gonna play this one.
I want pizza, Steve.
So and this is a different kind of movie. This isn't a clone, but I feel like it's very parallel. So in this movie, you have these two characters right here in that main thing. And if you haven't seen this movie, spoilers. But basically, what happens is this old man he is dying. He has, problems with his family. He's a rich man. He has all this money, but he doesn't have any time. And so he pays to basically upload his consciousness into a person who gave up their body for money in order to be able to save their daughter. And so what's interesting about this one is it's a pill. There's this procedure, a pill, and he has to take this pill, and he slowly over time is taking over the consciousness of the man and becoming himself. And so I won't spoil it, but again, a very much so again along the lines of them trying to use technology, mechanical, biological, in order to escape death, to escape their punishment. And we often see that no matter the consequences, they're willing to go to these measures, to do these things in order to achieve this godhood. Sweet. No, I didn't pull up a trailer for it. Go check it out. It's called Selfless if you're interested. Okay, so let me stop streaming that, turn my camera back on. So, yeah, guys, there's so many different forms of clone. I think it's hard to say our clones are here. I don't know. I almost think, that part of the media that they're pushing out is actually to confuse us, to give us so many ideas, so many things to speculate, that we can't really put our pulse on the signal and know which way they're actually tricking us, which way they're actually pulling these illusions, this wool over our eyes. Now, is something going on there? Absolutely. We know that they're doing these various things to, try to even come back alive, right? If, like one kind of something that you said, Robert, when it talking about freezing the heads, right? Or freezing the bodies. Very much like what we saw with the Egyptians, right? Them going through those processes to preserve the body for as long as they can, hoping that one day that those they'll be able to take that genetic DNA material and reproduce a human with those minds and thoughts and all that stuff. And so, do I believe that's possible? I don't know. It feels like it could, it couldn't. I'm not 100%. What are y'all's thoughts?
Well, there's stem cell. You can actually use your own stem cells to regenerate things now. There's a whole lot of that going on. I wonder if you could use brain stem cells and actually, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a big guess. That you'd actually be, no, it wouldn't be your brain with your own thoughts. I don't think that can be done. I really don't. I think that's where
maybe they can get those stem cells and then inject it into your spine or something, or into your bone marrow, somewhere where the body could
What
then
about
take
a brain
those.
transplant? You think they could do a brain transplant?
You know what? The brain
brain
is
into a
connected to
younger
the heart.
body? Would that take your consciousness into another body?
Okay, now wait a minute. There's a heart brain. There's also there's a heart brain with neurons, protons, all those little things in it. And people who get heart transplants, can take on characteristics of whatever. I don't know. It'd be almost a brain transplant and just have
I don't know.
It's connected to the heart too, so I don't know how they're gonna do it. I don't care. I don't think they won't want me anyway.
So, and we were kind of talking about this. I think the people that are aiming to do these things, possibly, but those that may achieve it in whatever fashion is possible, along with those who had, changed themselves in history and legends past. Do you think that these people are those, when it mentions, are whose names have not been in the book of life since the foundation of the earth? Or do you more see these as the people whose have been blotted out?
That's a good question, because I think all of creation was good, and that everything had their names in the book of life, and they just get blotted out. Wouldn't you say? I mean, it was good, 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 very good.
Yeah, but there is. Let me find the scripture real quick.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. In fact, what brought me down the whole conspiracy rabbit trail was something that said they were made for destruction. And I'm going, God didn't make anybody for destruction. And I started to try and find out and went down conspiracy.
I'm loading it up, and it says Revelations 20:15, and it says, and whoever so was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire.
Okay, well, that could be.
Because, the reason why I think that, just to kind of give you my thoughts, is that if you were to do that, I feel like that process of, let's say they do have the technology, they do have the ability to transfer their consciousness from their body, their dying body, into a avatar, into another person, into a clone, whatever it is, then do they then become a Nephilim, basically, or a Gibberim, or an unclean spirit? So like they are no longer considered human, therefore their names were never written in the book of life because
Well,
they were
maybe
not
that's why they
human.
do all that debauchery.
Okay, I got the scenario.
Maybe that's why they do. Maybe they have done all this, transferred their brain into another body, and that's why they're craving the pedophilia, the blood, all these, the adrenochrome, all these things that we know that they're doing behind the
Uh,
scenes. Maybe
Interesting.
how about
maybe they
a
become
virtual world?
maybe they become immortal or not immortal. What's the word I'm looking for?
Well, isn't that what unclean spirits
Maybe
are, right?
yeah,
They're
maybe they
immortal.
become unredeemable when they do that.
And
Yeah.
until
And
they get thrown in the lake of fire. Yes.
right? And so maybe they do gain a form of immortality, right? But it's the dark mortality. Like, yeah, you're an unclean spirit now. And so maybe that's where, you know, there is some, and this is kind of totally tanging off into another conversation, but where it comes about human ghosts, maybe humans can become ghosts if they do this type of thing, you know, sorcerers and people who change their body. Total random tangent, nothing backing that. So, but it just came to mind. What were you saying, Marsha? What is your scenario?
I that they could keep the person alive. Like I said, why do you want to just become this and keep staying alive? But they could keep the person alive with virtual reality goggles on them, and
So
they live in a virtual world. But they can.
so there's actually have if y'all have ever heard of the series on Netflix called Black Mirror, there's actually an episode of Black Mirror. It's kind of like the sadistic modern version of Twilight Zone, in which when you die, you can basically die like normal, or when you die, you're uploaded into the cloud, right? And this is a virtual heaven where you can do all the uh, 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 lusts of the flesh. You're younger, you can change what you look like, you have the nicest car, you live in the best place, right? Because this is a virtual world. And so it's kind of like, hey, do you want to go, are you a believer and you want to die this way, or are you going to get your mind uploaded into the consciousness? And even that episode, there's conflict between believers and their parents uploading their consciousness. So, you know, that's a very good, you know, an interesting
Well, if
point
you could
because
keep
maybe they
changing
can.
body parts,
Yeah, well, if
and
you're
you
in a virtual
do
world,
nothing,
right, and you have all your
yeah,
memories, then you could do
you don't
anything.
care.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't care what you look like, just
yeah.
as long as that heart's still pumping and your brain's still doing, and then be in a virtual world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were more so playing it as once you're dead, your body's gone. They
Oh.
capture your spirit and put it into a computer, and so now you have your own materialistic heaven, right? Very
Yeah.
interesting. Sweet.
Hey,
Okay.
hey, Robert, hold on. What is your back screen? Is that the episode of Androids from Star Trek?
Not nope. That's the one where they did an android duplicate of Captain Kirk.
Yeah, that's he goes on that machine, it spins around, and
That's
then
him around. And,
yeah, that thing becomes an android of Kirk, right?
yes, yes. But while he was being duplicated, while his memory was, he was saying expletives about Spock. So when he come out, the android was saying expletives to Spock. So Spock found him out.
Right.
Didn't work. Didn't work.
Okay, sweet. All right, so we got so that's it for kind of the movies. We're gonna kind of get into the real world of it and some information out there, other people's perspectives on this topic that aren't on the table, but created some interesting videos. So I'm gonna pull these up. We're gonna watch them and we'll check them out. So and then talk about them at the end. So or after the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and screen share again. Let's go ahead and turn off our cameras and we will watch this together. And it's about 6 minutes long, so let's check it out.
you go to Disney World, for instance, down there in the Haunted Mansion, you see the hologram, right? Oh, you know how to make a hologram.
Where'd you go,
Well,
Ryder?
our scientists have learned how to make people. They call them synthetics. Are you familiar with those?
Well, actually, we just interviewed John Lear, and he was talking about being in an audience in which they were given a lecture by a guy that they thought was real and found out later he was a hologram.
Well, it's a synthetic. A synthetics, when you touch their skin, it feels like plastic almost. That's the latest technique. The old techniques, if you guys can rent a video, the boys from Brazil, rent it, because in it, it gives you the exact way how our government's been making people.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
and
come
the
on.
Soviets had a different method called...
I mean, making people meaning temporary people?
No, walking, talking ones.
Meaning through genetics? You're not talking about that?
Well, let me tell you. The movie shows it, but I'll share it with you right now.
All right.
All I need to do is take 2 cells off of your body, yours.
Uh-huh.
We give them a small electrical charge. I'm just no, act like a fertilized egg. If I got a fertilized egg, all I need is a receiver in order to make it. So they were hypnotizing women, said they were being invaded by aliens. And the fetus starts growing, right? Needs food. Well, they can use cows and sheep, too. Again, a food source. That's all we need. After about 14 weeks, all of a sudden that fetus is gone. Because they've learned to take, that's when the fetus starts developing its own blood supply. Then they've used a pituitary hormone extract that they have, which accelerates the being that grows. And the original technology was given to our government by the Greys. Now, the reason was that our scientists were all excited because we could have spare parts. If you need a heart or a liver or anything, you won't have any rejection. It's your own DNA, right?
Okay, because theoretically, if we have overpopulation, we don't need more people, right?
But the so-called elite are selecting on who they want to have around anyway, so if we want to keep people going as long as we can. I talked to the doctor that was working on regeneration of Castro, for instance.
Right.
On the DNA sequencing. And they're just learning about this.
Well, my understanding is that a lot of presidents have already been replaced.
That's right.
Yeah,
I don't think...
They're walking around, they look old, but they basically, some of the people are just
I'll just
second,
give you
third
something
hobbies.
I'll give you something to ponder. Get some old videos of George Bush, when he first came into office. Look at the person and listen to him speak. Look at his actions and listen to everything that's there. Now, it's a lot easier to put somebody out in front to act as even Bush did. He had somebody else that was up there acting like he is and look like it. Even Hitler had he had his stand. In fact, his stand-in was the one that they found in the ground over in Germany. I mean, Hitler and Eva and the dog and 14 other people got aboard a plane and flew down to Barcelona, Spain. You were aware of that. And then ended up in Antarctica or in Swabenland and then died a few years ago in Brazil.
That's what we heard. That's
Well,
what we heard.
I have all the documents from our own government.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a contact, one of our
Stalin
contacts.
Stalin asked for they tried to burn the body and he got the body back and he said we had different ears and the testicles were different and everything else, so they knew it wasn't Hitler.
But is it a clone or not?
Oh, now you know I'm going about cloning. Cloning techniques. Since 1938, they've been making clone people. There's 8 countries making clones. I have a doctor friend
but
that
I
all he
wanna know
does
where
is
you-
treat the clones.
Where do you get your information?
I get it from some of the people that are willing to come forth, and they talk to me because they hope I'll put the information out because they always got 2 people following them and they may be killed. If I start talking about cloning too much, the people that get involved into that disappear on it. So I don't go into too many more details, but there is information that's available, and more and more of that's coming on the line. I just told you, go rent the movie.
Okay, Boys from Brazil.
Yeah, and you'll see the whole technique on what they show it to you in different places, so you can imagine what's going on.
Okay.
concerned what the game is. Well, just figure that most of the leaders we have in the world have been bought and paid for or created to think a certain way.
And then it was such a hit. It was way bigger than I even anticipated. And now, I think we're going to make part 2. I think you have to. I think you, have to. They kill you if you try to walk away. And they clone you.
They still can't hear it. Okay, it's back up.
I apologize for that. This thing's finicky. I apologize. All right, so let's talk about that real quick before we go on to the next video. Oops. Sweet. So there's some interesting information. Obviously, he's talking about extraterrestrials. He's talking about grays, and my belief on those is, at the very least, they are fallen angels, if not Nephilim. Who knows? But they're definitely not from another planet. We know that because there's not such thing as a planet or another planet. So, but yeah, what are y'all's thoughts about what that guy just said? Oh, you're muted on yourself, Marcia.
I don't know. I didn't hear a thing.
We can hear it.
Oh, I wasn't using watch screen, so I didn't hear.
Okay, Robert.
So what did he say? Did he say from back, was it 1934, did he say, or somewhere around there?
Yeah, he was pushing it all the way back to like the 1940s, maybe a little bit before, so much to say that that Hitler had a clone. Adolfo Hitlerio had a clone. And he's talking about these soulless people. Now, is that possible, guys? Is it possible to create a human that did not have the spark of life? Because from my understanding, everything that is conceived within a womb, right, it needs that divine spark to make it from one cell to two cells, right? Whatever that is that creates that event, right? So how do they go through that? How do they go through that and not have a soul?
Well, I like what I can't forget who said it now, but Warrior, yeah, I'm not sure. Said, when you die, when we were talking about death, your spirit, the spirit that animated you goes back to Yah. Your soul goes to. Are they trying to how?
Yeah, that's
your spirit. Your soul goes to Sheol, good or bad side. Your spirit that animated you goes back to Yah, and your body just deteriorates. So how can they do this? I don't know. They can't be God.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, how are they creating soulless bodies, right?
Okay, soulless.
Okay, well, no, but here, okay, so they're saying soulless, meaning they don't. And this is weird because, right, there's semantics with the word soul and spirit and stuff like that. So when they're saying soulless, like, how do you interpret that? Like, I interpret that as like they're not an individual person; they're just a living flesh, right? But
yeah, just a meat body.
Just a meat body, right? That can walk and talk, but they don't have they don't have a spirit, they don't have a soul where it's an individuality to them, right? But how do they create a body for that to even happen without having that spark, the spirit of God making the flesh be living and animate?
Well, they did make that clone of I don't know, that clone of the sheep. Yeah, they've made other clones, but it had, I don't know.
Well,
I don't have an answer to that, but that soul would be an abomination and would be going to the lake of fire if it actually had some kind of a.
So all that, I think it was Dolly or whatever, I
Yeah,
think
Not
yeah,
only the sheep, not only the sheep, but
but
yeah.
all that
people got
was taking the DNA, putting that within an
Right,
egg,
right.
fertilizing the egg, and
Making it double.
recreating the
Yep,
same
yep.
sheep with the same DNA. That wasn't
Right.
necessarily, there still had to be a spark of the spirit, right, for those cells to divide in order for that
Yeah.
sheep to be made. What were you going to say, Robert?
I'm just saying that that differentiates between us and all the other animals is you know, we have body, soul, and spirit.
Right.
Animals, they just have the body, and I always get it flip flopped as far as
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
spirit of it. But Yah breathed in breathed into us, and we became a living soul. Um, So yeah, I think you could create the mechanism of the human body, and it could act and do things, but
If you
it
mechanically or electronically, yeah.
won't have the consciousness, won't
No.
have
But so you don't
feeling.
think that they would have a soul, right? Like they wouldn't have an
Right.
Right.
individuality. But my question is, so you think that they can create a like a human vassal like that? How do they get past the breath of life, that spark of the spirit that makes it a living, growing being, right?
Well,
Because then when I guess what my point then would be is, then do you believe that God allows them to create such a thing where it's a physical flesh body that has no connection to the Father? And then I guess I kind of see that. I don't know if it's exactly that same, being as I feel like the locusts from Revelation 9 are biomechanical vassals for unclean spirits. I guess where I'm hard pressed is the speculation on how they do that specific thing.
well, the one thing they did is that Nephilim were created, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had a soul. Their soul's going to be go to Hades. They are the demonic spirits. They are. So I guess they're an abomination. So I guess
Yeah, I guess abominations can exist, right? So
right.
we can't, I guess we can't say specifically which one we think is real, but the fact that something within this world is possible. Sweet. All right, let's watch another video. We're not gonna watch this full one. We're gonna skip around a little bit, but let's check this out, and we'll keep trucking along. Those on the panel, make sure you click the stream if you want to watch it. And here we go.
And so gonna do something slightly different from what I normally cover. Gonna go down the rabbit hole of celebrity doppelgangers. Just what are these creatures? Are they clones? Are they fallen angels? Are they the serpent seed? What are these things? How do we explain this? Okay, so I guess let's start by looking at a bunch of photos of these doppelgangers so you know just what the heck I'm talking about. So let's do that.
Excuse me. That last one was funny. I'm really hoping this isn't copyrighted music.
Yeah, I hope not.
So to me, some of these, like, let me actually pause it real quick. And one of the reasons why we'll skip through. So some of these things to me is, okay, maybe there's something here. There's something to this. But I personally, logically, can easily excuse this as there's the human genome. I guarantee you, if we had a picture of every human that ever existed, the chances of a face like mine being out there replicated is extremely high. So,
well, I'll tell you, yeah, because there is one, and we got it on a GIF. It's a GIF of my daughter, and she thought it was her, and I saw one she was Irish or something in a pub, and I go, oh my gosh, that looks just like me and acts just like me. And when you think it's you, that's incredible, you know?
Yeah, and so I guess really what I'm saying is that this to me isn't any type of real proof, because do the chances that people have certain facial features and stuff carried down through centuries? Obviously, look at my children. If you have children, look at your children. They have the same jawline, the same nose, the same eyebrows, whatever it is. So this to me really isn't saying all too much. But in this video, I'm going to skip through a little bit. So there's a whole bunch of this going on and on. Like, and some of these people have literally
probably the most.
So, but yeah, let's jump here.
Sheep.
Almost. Okay, here we go.
All right, so we got through that first part. Let's take a look at cloning now. There's quite a bit of evidence. So I'm going to show you this YouTube video that somebody made about Dolly the sheep. Dolly the sheep is the first animal that they cloned, so they say. But, you know, we stopped at the sheep because of, you know, ethical reasons. Yeah, right. They've been cloning humans since. And so let's take a look at that, and then I'll show you a cloning website.
Dolly, probably the most famous sheep on the planet, was the first mammal that was cloned from an adult somatic cell. But what is cloning, and how is it possible that this sheep did not originate from the combination of sperm and egg cell? Before explaining the creation of Dolly, make sure to follow me on Twitter @HenriksLab and subscribe to this channel. Clones? Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Clones share the same genetic information. Two organisms are considered as clones when they are genetically identical. Asexual reproduction is one way in nature to create genetically identical organisms. Bacteria create a duplicate of their genome and divide by binary fission. The opposite of asexual reproduction is sexual reproduction, where the father donates sperm and the mother the egg cell. Each parent provides one copy of genetic information. Dolly did not have those biological parents. This special sheep has been brought into this life by artificial cloning. In 1996, Dolly was born as the first mammal ever cloned from a somatic cell. Instead of having father and mother, Dolly had multiple mothers, each of them with one important function in the cloning process. Sheep 1, a Scottish blackface, was the egg cell donor. The nucleus was removed so that only the egg cell without any DNA remained. From sheep 2, a different species of sheep, they took a somatic cell and isolated the nucleus, which is containing all genetic information that will later be the blueprint that determines the development of Dolly the sheep. The nucleus was transferred into the oocyte. The result of nuclear transfer is a hybrid cell. An electric stimulus was used to trigger cells to divide, developing into the blastocyst stage. Now, sheep 3, again a Scottish blackface, was used as a surrogate mother. The blastocyst was implanted into sheep 3, and some months later Dolly was born into this world. Dolly did not have the phenotype of the surrogate mother. Instead, it had the exact same genetic information as of sheep 2. Remember, this sheep donated the nucleus containing the DNA. By the way, Dolly lived almost 7 years and even gave birth to progeny.
Alright, so here's a company, Clonade, it's based out of Canada. And one thing that's interesting, I can't remember the details off the top of my head, but the British royal family, what is their names? I think it's like William and Kate or something like that. One of the princes and his wife, they visited Canada, and they stayed at a hotel that was like an hour away from Clonade, and they came back from that holiday and they had children. So that's very interesting to me. And already you can see here in the logo, there's the as above, so below, satanic Baphomet symbolism.
Okay, so again, we're talking from the aspect of that kind of process, right? It's created the same person. So that gave us more of a scientific application on how that process is. Interesting enough, they said that they gave it an electrical to change it from its, kind of dormant state for it to go start doing the duplicate process before they implanted it into the surrogate mother, speaking about the sheep. So there's some more kind of information on how that process might be viable. Let me skip through here a little bit.
And a couple of, but
okay, so let's read this part.
All right, so for celebrities doing multiple roles at the same time, I just quickly want to do an example of celebrities caught wearing what looks like masks, like silicone or rubber. Who knows what kind of technology they have. But the example I'm going to show is Will Smith and Tyson Perry being played by the same actor. And there's many other examples out there. You just got to look for it on, your search engine. But a couple of
skip through this.
Is a great place to start.
Something.
It's like a big.
Let's go back a little bit.
All right, so let's talk about the transgender aspect of these celebrities. Okay, I had to bring this up at some point because it's what I cover on my channel. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, search on YouTube or BitChute a documentary called Elite Gender Inversion. That is a great place to start. It's like a beginner's guide to transvestigation play.
Let's skip through this. So this is them just saying they're switching male and females within main roles. Kind of off topic. So yeah, let's jump. We don't got a super lot amount of time, and there's a couple more videos and some articles I want to read, so I want to skip through this a little bit quicker. So we're just going to go ahead and play the next one.
This is the United Uprising channel. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to do another video on Taylor Swift. You may have seen the video I did in regards to Zena LaVey, Anton LaVey's daughter, and the potential for Taylor Swift, really the non-denying, because you can't deny that they don't look almost identical, that they at least don't look related. But there's a theory of cloning that Zena LeVay has been cloned. And I want to cover that again because a subscriber on the website, Darren James, posted this commercial. I'd never seen it before. And it immediately started getting me thinking about fembots from Austin Powers. Remember the fembots, the women? There were all the robot clones of one another, or all the robots of each other. And I want to talk more about cloning because there are new people here. And they think that cloning is this crazy conspiracy. And they don't even realize that right in front of your face, our own government has acknowledged that they can clone human beings. But for whatever reason, they can't process this. So they think it's some crazy conspiracy for us to say that some of these celebrities are cloned, that some of these people in politics are cloned, that the real versions of them are dead. Now, I get it because it's hard to produce actual evidence of somebody's dead body to say that this person's dead, but they've cloned them. But if you actually break down the footage, it's very easy to see. So I'll get into that in a second. But Darren James posted this about Taylor Swift, and this actually is out there. It's not trending, but if you look, you'll see people have been posting this about a 1981 commercial where the girl in the commercial looks awfully identical to Taylor Swift as well. So people are saying, is Taylor Swift a time traveler? Now, time travel is another thing that can be covered, of course, with all this stuff going on at CERN, etc. But I will not cover time traveling because I will not go deep into that rabbit hole and make people's heads.
Okay, let me skip through.
There is a lot of connection to these people, to commercial, the teeth. Does anyone
ending search for knowledge
say he's a weasel and a slime ball?
We must strive to find the sometimes delicate but always crucial balance between our unending search for knowledge and doing what is safe and morally right. Ever since scientists in Scotland successfully cloned a sheep, an adult sheep, in February, the President and those of us who work with him, along with the rest of the nation, have grappled with the meaning and significance of the discovery, and the meaning and significance, of course, of the many scientific, safety, ethical, and religious implications presented by the question of the prospective possibility of cloning of human beings. No one, however, has deliberated more on this issue than the men and women who are responsible for the report being delivered today to President Clinton, the members of the National Bioethics Advisory Commission. Over the last 3 months, they worked on an extremely complex issue at an extremely fast pace.
As the Vice President has said, and all of us know, we live in an era of breathtaking scientific discovery. More and more, our future in the world depends upon advances in science and technology, and more, the scientific community will influence the course of the future and the lives that our children will lead in the new century that is upon us. As I said in my commencement address at Morgan State University last month, our scientific explorations must be guided by our commitment to human values, to the good of society, to our basic sense of right and wrong. Nothing makes the necessity of that moral obligation more clear than the troubling possibility that these new animal cloning techniques could be used to create a child. That is why I acted in March to ban the use of federal funds for cloning human beings and to urge the private sector to observe the ban voluntarily while we initiated a national dialogue on the risks and the responsibilities of such a possibility. And why I asked this commission to issue this report. For 3 months, the commission has rigorously explored the scientific, moral, and spiritual dimensions of human cloning. It has talked to leading scientists and religious leaders, to philosophers and families, to patient advocates, and to the general public. From many opinions and beliefs, as Dr. Shapiro said, one unanimous conclusion has emerged. Attempting to clone a human being is unacceptably dangerous to the child and morally unacceptable to our society. I believe strongly that this conclusion reflects a national consensus, and I believe personally that it is the right thing to do. Today, I am sending legislation to the Congress that prohibits anyone in either public or private sectors from using these techniques to create a child. Until the day I sign the legislation into law, the ban on federal funding I declared in March will remain in effect. And once again, I call upon the private sector to refrain voluntarily from using this technology to attempt to clone a human being. I want to make clear that there is nothing inherently immoral or wrong with these new techniques, used for proper purposes. In fact, they hold the promise of revolutionary new medical treatments and life-saving cures to diseases like cystic fibrosis, diabetes, and cancer, to better crops and stronger livestock. This legislation, therefore, will not prohibit the use of these techniques to clone DNA in cells, and it will not ban the cloning of animals. What the legislation will do is to reaffirm our most cherished belief about the miracle of human life and the God-given individuality each person possesses. It will ensure that we do not fall prey to the temptation to replicate ourselves at the expense of those beliefs and the lives of innocent children we would produce. Finally, the legislation will ensure that we continue the national dialogue we began 3 months ago, and will provide the nation and the Congress another opportunity to take a look at this issue in 5 years. To make sure that all our voices are heard as we explore human cloning, the legislation specifically requires the National Bioethics Advisory Commission to continue its study and report back in 4.5 years. At that time, we will decide how to proceed based on what has been accomplished and agreed upon and debated and discovered in the intervening period. Banning human cloning reflects our humanity. It is the right thing to do. Creating a child through this new method calls into question our most fundamental beliefs. It has the potential to threaten the sacred family bonds at the very core of our ideals and our society. At its worst, it could lead to misguided and malevolent attempts to select certain traits, even to create certain kinds of children, to make our children objects rather than cherished individuals. We are still a long way from understanding all the implications of the present discoveries, but it is our moral obligation to confront these issues as they arise, and to act now to prevent abuse. Today, I hope other countries will see what we are doing and do the same, and I pledge to work with them to enforce similar bans around the world that reflect these values. Once again, let me say a heartfelt thank you on behalf of our entire nation to the National Bioethics Advisory Commission for the remarkable work you have done and the work you have agreed to continue doing in the coming years.
We are, it seems, on the verge of possibly
Can't hear you.
Oh, so one of the things that was going on, I don't know if y'all saw, is that they had some sneaky inserts. So one of those sneaky inserts was where he said the government has banned, anything to do with cloning humans, and we asked the private sector to voluntarily ban this stuff. So that means they said, hey, please don't do this, but there was no actual law that prohibited them from doing that research, continuing that research, or the such. So, but that was masked within that political speech and the way that they talk. And it's very interesting how they took this moral high ground, right? Where they're like, we got to realize that each human is an individual, but these have a very good, this could help a lot in the medical industry, right? And we were kind of talking about the replacing of, you have cancer, you need a new part. Where are you going to get that from? And so that was kind of sneakily put in there, obfuscated throughout. So, very interesting. What are y'all's thoughts about what we just watched? Anyone?
Well, first off, at the very beginning, it showed a cell that took the DNA out. That cell is something too, though. Is it really empty?
So they said they took one cell, right?
They took
everything out of it, right? And then they took another cell and they took
Right.
just the nucleus out. They got rid of the shell. They just kept the nucleus. Then they
Yeah.
put that nucleus inside that new shell and then shocked
Yeah.
it to life.
Yeah, I know. And then shocked it and then put it inside. I'm just wondering, is that really a shell?
Yeah.
It seems like that has to be something too.
Yeah.
That shell, that I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like I feel like all the different versions they give us of clones and doubles and masks and all these different, it's just a way to obfuscate what they're really doing. And I think we're close, but I don't feel like we'll ever really know, or maybe we might never really know that we're over the target, right? That we're actually, we have this, you know, bona fide evidence to prove one way or the other. Or maybe it's all the ways, right? And they're eventually going to combine these in a way, in such a way to create like these kind of basically unclean spirit vassals. All right, let's keep chugging along on this video, and we'll talk about it after this part.
The most remarkable scientific breakthrough in human history, and the most controversial too. Within months, some scientists say they will have cloned a human baby. What was once thought impossible now seems unstoppable. In America, tiny human life forms are already being cloned for medical research. So is it only a matter of time before scientists take the final step? Now, you may greet this with awe or horror, but imagine a world where death could be cheated, where a lost child could be recreated, where children could recreate their dead parents. This week, Liz Hayes has been in America talking with the people determined to make history.
We are a part of history. It's forever. It will be like Adam and Eve. It's the first human being created through human planning.
His name is Rael, and he heads a wealthy, well-organised religious sect whose faith is science and whose ambition is to use existing technology to clone a human being. When do you anticipate we will see the first cloned human being?
We plan to have it ready to show the baby between 12 to 24 months.
In a matter of months, science fiction may become science fact. A world where we no longer create new babies, but recreate old ones over and over again.
It's huge. It will change everything in our society. It's not only the scientific aspect of creating life, but also the political, religious belief, sociology, everything is. We are entering a new world which is completely different. But there is no reason
a better world?
A much better world.
Rael is the leader of the French-Canadian-based Raelian movement, which believes that aliens created all life on Earth by cloning themselves.
They came on the Earth, built a big...
Wanted to pause for a second and just shout out, my wife just said, was this really done, or is this like how we landed on the moon? I actually was thinking about that exact thing, how like they keep bringing it up, like, oh, cloning. But then again, it seems like other than the media, and in the form of movies, that this isn't really brought up within the news anymore. Maybe I'm just out of that loop, so I don't know the difference, but there's a shot. Also, Mark pointed out a Rael, right? Really interesting, connections there. If you don't see it, pretty funny. But yeah, let's keep chugging.
laboratories, and inside these laboratories, through DNA and cloning, they did create all life on Earth. And this place was an encounter between them and human beings.
But don't write off this man or his followers as just another loony sect. Just because their beliefs are a little off the planet doesn't mean they can't do what they say they're going to do. It's precisely because the Raelians are not constrained by the conventional ethics of science and society that they might just be the ones to pull it off.
I was speaking about cloning from 27 years ago. It's a long time. When I was talking in my public speech 27 years ago about we will soon clone human being, everybody was laughing. Then came Dolly the sheep, and now nobody is laughing anymore. Everybody is afraid, and we are laughing.
Cloning is not illegal in most states in America, and the Raelian movement has both the money and the scientific expertise.
Some people have been saying this is against the dignity of human being, and I'm saying I'm just doing a baby.
Professor Brigitte Bosselier is a biochemist and a follower of Rael. She runs a private company called Clonaid, where her scientists, she says, will be the first to clone a human. And couples are lining up to pay more than $200,000 for the procedure.
How many people have you got waiting and wanting this?
More than 100. They are a huge number.
More than 100 people wanting
to be cloned, yeah.
To clone themselves?
I would say half and half. Half of them would like to clone themselves because that's the only way to have a baby. The other half are concerned by a dead child.
Is there any aspect to cloning that would make you say, this is not what I would like?
No, except the limitation of the numbers. If somebody very rich come and say, I want 100 clones of me, I think this is not acceptable.
Was there ever a time when you thought, I'm not sure if this is the right thing to do?
So his morals.
The only concern I have regarding this is, am I doing it right? In terms of science.
Only 4 years ago, we reported on the birth of Dolly, the clone sheep.
Pause it here.
Dolly.
This is a pretty long video. I'll link this up so that y'all can watch it later. But I wanted to show this last video and then a couple of these articles before we go off. So before we do that, I'm gonna drop that. Before we do that, you know, this is great catches there, Mark, and with the whole raw L and then the raw alien, you know, the raw aliens, you know, the whole flying saucer, the pyramids, the alien clones, right? The fact that he's a cult, they have all these people, specifically, you know, people that want to have clones because they can't have children. Right, someone who's in, you know, going through a traumatic thing, definitely they wanted children, right? And then the second group, even more traumatic, someone who lost a child that wants to, you know, bring back their child, which that is exactly who cult leaders go after. They go after those vulnerable people who are in a weakened state because of that traumatic event. So, you know, such cheese there, right? But this was broadcasted on news as something that is an up-and-coming inevitability, right? That science is here, right? And I do, jumping back to what my wife said, I really do, you know, like, is this, they went to the moon type of thing? Is this a space type of thing where this is just propaganda? Because I do see those elements too, where it could just be fake. It could just be subversion, right? Because there is tons of videos and tons of things. If you go search aliens, you will get nonstop fed content about aliens, right? So then does that therefore mean aliens are real? And so great point, great perspectives, people, great picking out some of those points. Panel members, what are y'all's thoughts? Marcia, if you'd like to say something, you are muted, sister.
No, I'll leave it to Robert.
In the World's Fairs in the 1800s, they had these things called incubator babies.
but that was where it was incubators.
I don't know. They could have been clones. The way they were showing the babies made me kind of remember that. But they had
I do, but
World's Fairs.
yeah, I don't.
Babies, and you could buy one.
Well,
You're buying the babies, and they were creating. We could all be clones. You never know.
You never know.
Marsha, I definitely think you're a clone.
No, nobody wants to clone me.
What were you gonna say, Robert?
No, I just want to have that Mortal Kombat suit and the man bun with the little thin mustache. That's pretty cool. I mean, if you got that, you got a lot of people who are going to listen to you.
How dare you?
You look like Mortal Kombat. You look like a samurai.
How dare you?
How double dog dare you? All right. Okay. So here is what a lot of people would claim as evidence to these machines, clones, doubles, whatever you want to call them, kind of having some issues, kind of needing that repair, like we saw in that other video, a little tune-up, because they're not behaving properly. So that's kind of the perspective of this video. So I'm gonna pop it up, and then we are gonna watch that. We'll read a couple articles, and then we'll call it a stream. So check it out. Those on the live on the panel, if you want to watch, click on the link, and here we go. Let me do this.
Yeah, I remember that. I've seen that video.
Yep, so do I.
That's why I'm saying chips.
Eminem did it too.
It's like a malfunction, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Looks like a dummy there.
Yeah. Nobody home.
I feel a little shaky. I don't know what's wrong with me. No, but it's good. It's good. It's good. You go. It's good. It's a question. I'm feeling great. I feel nervous, a little bit overwhelmed. I feel a little shaky. I don't know what's wrong with me. No, but it's good. It's good. It's good. You go. It's a question. How are you? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling nervous, overwhelmed, everything. You feel it all right now. I feel it all. Ooh, butterfly in my stomach and vagina.
Okay. I love you. Why do I love you? Well, I know I love you so much. The same reason everyone loves you. Because you speak your mind, Cardi B. You do not hold back.
Oh, yeah. Speak your mind, girl.
I love it too. Sometimes it gets
Spread
me in trouble.
that
Whoever's
debauchery.
in there. I love it too. Sometimes it gets me in whoever's in there.
Weekend?
Yes, I'm so excited.
And you did some fun skits with Andy Samberg before.
Yes, I did. Andy's so funny, and Justin Timberlake's hosting. So
Right. Have you met Justin before?
I have met Justin before. Yes,
And you're gonna do? Are you doing a skit with him? We heard you doing a skit.
I believe we are.
Are you doing with Justin and Andy, or are you just doing it?
You'll have to watch to find out.
Very artistic, like the video, and your clothes are. And as a guy, how do you walk? How do you
Isn't
have to
that
learn
guy
how to walk?
our-
You get an outfit, you're like, I gotta learn how to walk in these.
Yeah.
Well,
Cool.
Do I have to? No, I'm a professional.
Okay.
You
And you're.
need to learn how to walk in those.
I did their
Lookers.
exactly. They're logging boots, Walmart specials.
I love Walmart.
So do I.
My album is going to be sold at Walmart.
Good girl. All right, your outfits are one of a kind.
So
you don't. When I look
weird.
at your stuff, when I see you performing and stuff, I think Salvador Dali and MC Escher. What do you want to do with your outfits? Where do they all go? Where does all the creativity go?
Gaga.
They go to that planet, Goat, that I
Okay.
was in the Born This Way video, the government-owned alien territory in space. I just send it all there. It's in a giant archive.
When I was making love to my old boyfriend, I used to think about women sometimes.
Okay, I'm gonna skip some of this.
Yeah. Is it?
It's been a heck of a ride, to be honest. I really can't complain. Yeah, I was kind of I was a little down when I found out I was injured and I had to have surgery again. Or,
Yeah.
With another knee. But at the end of the day, I have amazing teammates. Guys like Draymond, everybody on this team, they come over there, they wrap their hands around me like.
Super weird.
Weird.
Skip it. Very weird looking. Oh my god.
There are many ways I can inflict pain on my opponent and put him away.
How will Aldo try to attack Conor?
Okay, well, Aldo's a very fast guy, and these guys have been wanting to get at each other. The big question is, can Aldo even get to Conor McGregor? Somebody that's got the footwork of Conor, the awkward styles constantly is changing between an orthodox and a south.
Oops.
What is that? He's just like standing there all weird.
Just a short time ago, Conor said that you had disrespected him, and that's why.
Weird hand behind.
Never. You respond, say something nice about Jose.
Let's
please?
skip through this. There's more meltdowns.
Yeah, Casey does a lot.
Okay, sorry, I'm skipping through people. Oh. Weird.
The demon left her.
Okay, all right. Let me see how I'm gonna hit you with. You want some freestyle? Some freestyle.
It's like
Have you always wanted to try it out?
I just do this.
Yeah.
I just have always wanted to try it out.
Why have you always wanted to try it out?
I just have always wanted to try it out.
Why have you always wanted to try it out?
Weird eye glitches.
Marshall Mathers. Some of you may know him as
There's
Eminem, but he's going to join the Saturday Night crew of Black TV called Berserk. Take a listen.
Yeah, sorry. Black TV. What's the question? Yeah, I'm really uncomfortable right now. Okay.
No.
Do not act like you don't remember that.
All
We are
right.
sending a million names.
All right, I'll be there in a couple minutes.
All right, well, it happened. She's
hip hop. I gotta go, guys.
Later, Frankie B. Have a good night.
So, bye, everyone.
Don't tell me about being likable.
Okay, let's skip.
He was born of. He says the things. Who? Roman is a crazy boy who lives in me. And he says the things that I don't want to say. He was born, just a few months ago. I think he was born out of rage. He was conceived in rage. So he bashes everyone. He threatens to beat people, and he's violent.
That must be nice to have like an ignorant loudmouth who you can just sort of blame every.
He wants to be blamed. I don't want to blame him. I ask him to leave, but he can't. He's here for a reason. People have brought him out. People conjured him up. Now he won't leave.
Also, I want to find out about this situation with you have many, many different alter egos, right?
Oh, yes.
Roman is one, and then you have...
Roman is one, Barbie's one. She's
I'm
like
gonna
the
skip
little
through a
innocent.
little bit more.
And when people see me, sometimes I think that when they meet me and they speak with me, they're expecting Sasha. And I'm really kind of shy, and not really shy, but more reserved, and nothing like Sasha. I mean, I can try, but then it just doesn't happen. I can sing notes and sing strong and do all these things that when I'm just by myself, I can't do. And I remember right before I performed, I raised my hands up, and it was kind of the first time I felt something else come into me, and I knew that was gonna be my coming out night for the BET Awards.
It was pretty rough. Yeah.
All right, more to this video. We're gonna call it here because I do want to read a couple of these articles that are more of a science-based view. So I will leave links to these videos. So real quick, scientists unveiled detailed cell maps of the human brain and the non-human primate brain. So basically what this whole thing is talking about is their desire, their research into being able to map the human brain so much as in a way that would give them the capability of taking a person's, right, since they are coming from a materialistic view, getting a person's complete imprint of all their neural pathways within their brain in order to reproduce their memories and their knowledge and their wisdom. And it makes me sad to think of all of God's creations that are getting dissected and mutilated just for people to be able to try to extend their lives by a little bit or by forever, therefore possibly condemning themselves to eternal, not eternal, but to the hellfire. And so yeah, it's crazy. And there's another article here with a quick little video that I want to watch about the subject. So let's this is them saying, let's rethink consciousness, right? It's not some mystical thing. It's kind of choppy for whatever reason. Let me see if I can actually change that. Yeah, I can. Let's go at least 720. There we go. Much better. Okay, so what that basically was saying was like, they're like, hey, rethink consciousness. It's not something you got to transfer. We can literally make a duplicate of it, and the original doesn't have to be deleted because we created the copy. And pretty sick, right? Like, he literally, like, they're trying to get around the judgment. They're trying to get around them having to, answer for their deeds, their works and their deeds. All right, let's watch this real quick, and we're almost there. Almost to the end, fellas. People, hope you're enjoying the show.
Robin, you asked yet another very embarrassing question. Believe it or not, even though tens of thousands of papers have been written about consciousness in the literature, nobody has a suitable definition for consciousness. What does it mean to be conscious, and how do you encode it? And what is the minimum amount of consciousness necessary to animate something else? This raises questions for artificial intelligence, because some people in the field of AI believe that one day we will be immortal. We will live forever. But the question is, what will live forever? The atoms that make up our body, that give us consciousness, that give rise to our personality and our fears and desires, that may die. But yet the essence of the neural circuits may survive. Now, there are many ways to do this, so let's break some of them down. The most ambitious has been proposed by people who believe that one day we will create a robot body that is perfect. A Superman, beautiful, elegant, super powerful body with no brain. Then we will start to extract our brain tissue, neuron for neuron, and duplicate it with transistors. So for every neuron we take out of our brain, we replace it with a transistor. Sooner or later, chunks of our brain are removed and inserted transistor for transistor inside this robot body. Now, we're fully conscious during this process. Part of our brain computes here, and part of our brain computes over there, connected by wires. Well, after a few hours, large portions of the brain are gutted, and huge chunks of transistors are added to this robot of silicon and steel. And when it's finally finished, you now have no brain in your head, and here's a robot with a complete brain and a complete body. That's one of the most ambitious ways to transfer consciousness from our body to another body. And then the question is that really you? Well, there's another way to do it, and that way was explored in The Sixth Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger. In that movie, the bad guys get killed, but each bad guy was cloned.
All right, we're gonna
clone.
We're gonna call it there. We're gonna drop one more thing. This is kind of a dark website I saw that just popped up, and it says downloading consciousness or mind uploading is the idea that people may one day be able to transfer the state of their brain to a digital medium. Popular representations of downloading consciousness touch on the aspects of the subject such as immortality, speed up, multiple existence, etc. This is exemplified in Avatar, in which the main character uploads their mind to another body. Downloading consciousness is also touched upon in the television show Dollhouse. In the world of Dollhouse, people are consistently having their minds wiped and rewritten, so they utilize multiple personalities and skill sets. So, it's out there, guys. This idea, this desire, this desire to have these bodies, to have these immortal consciousnesses, all stem from that promise. And like transhumanism, clones is another avenue that those who wish to bypass their judgment, hope to bypass their judgment, are using in order to meet that goal. And so these things are in the world, these people, these ideas, these desires are there. And so we need to be aware of them. But of course, as always, we don't need to fear these things, right? We don't need to see these things and say, oh, they're coming to get us, or they're going to clone us, or, they're going to, switch us out. And, I feel like within the truth community, very easily, it is very easily to slip into a rabbit hole and find all this information and find all these things and get so caught up in that you kind of miss the forest from the tree. So, or the tree from the forest. So, yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode of the Roundtable. I hope y'all enjoyed the new intro. I definitely I had fun making it, so hopefully y'all enjoyed watching it. But yeah, let's go up and wrap up the screen. We'll get the after show started for those that are interested. If you want to join Discord and you're not already, look at the links in the description. You'll find it there. But we'll go ahead and say our goodbyes and get out of here. I'll throw it to you, Marsha.
Good night, everybody. It's been interesting and thought-provoking, and as Vader says, nothing to fear. It's not fear. We have the one truth. So they can try and hijack life, but we can have the eternal life. So.
Absolutely. Amen, sister. All right, throw it over to you to Robert.
I don't know. What did Mark Merritt say? Oh gosh,
Did you get a little TRS going on?
That's what's going on. I got the clone thing going on. Just trying to freezing, you know. No, but as far as the eternal life, I mean, we got eternal life through, Yeshua, and they're trying to find out, figure out all kinds of ways of curtailing that and trying to do it themselves to beat the system. So, yeah.
But we know the end story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they may, unfortunately, they may be successful in writing themselves out of their own story, right?
Yeah.
And we pray that that it doesn't come. And we know, I admit real quickly, it really makes me think of that passage where it's like, and I'm going to paraphrase, God shortens the time, for if he didn't shorten the time, no flesh would be left, right? So we know, like, when the end times come, they're going to be doing things like this. They are going to be trying to set themselves apart for the devil as opposed to setting themselves apart for y'all. And we'll definitely, or those that are around during that time will definitely see things that would make men's hearts wax cold for the fear of the things coming upon the earth. So we got to be aware of these things, that they're possible, they're coming, but again, that doesn't mean we fear them. So it's been great, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Vader Bear and Marsha and Robert, we're all going to say goodbye, everybody. And until next time, remember, guys, that ABBA loved you first. Good night, everybody.
Good night.